Hey everyone, welcome to the GRIT Crusade, the show where we really talk about what's authentic and real in life. You know, the grit, getting real in the trenches of life. I'm your host, Brooke Plack, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a self-proclaimed comeback queen, as in I've been to the bottom and back and experienced a lot in life. We're here just to get real and be authentic because that's where we truly live and experience life. So from listening to me share the wisdom about all the things I've totally messed up on in life and having some guests join us along the way, I'm so excited that you're here. And more than anything, share this with people that you know could use it too. So now let's dig in and get real in the trenches. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to the GRIT Crusade. I'm so excited to be here today and welcome my new friend, Miss Claire, Brown. We just had a conversation about last names. And so Claire is an author, a podcaster, a realtor extraordinaire, and most importantly, she is a champion and voice for women and their dreams and giving them a safe space to come in community together. So Claire, tell us about you. Tell us about what you do and all the funny stuff. Y'all are in for a treat. I just can't wait.
There's a lot to do. Right? I mean, there's a lot.
You started in real estate when you were young.
I did. I started selling real estate. I bought a house when I was 19.
Get it, girl. Yeah. That's good.
And then I found that I needed to pay for school unexpectedly. And so within a week, I passed my real estate class, bought a car, hung my license.
You passed the real estate test in a week.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, you sit for the exam, right?
But that's really hard. People fail that a lot.
Yeah. Some do, some don't. Yeah. I mean, it just depends.
Amazing. At 19.
Okay. So I bought the house when I was 19 and then started selling real estate a summer between college in 2002. And then, so I passed my real estate class or my exam, I should say, my test.
Test, okay, yeah.
Passed my real estate test, hung my license that week, bought a car that week because I didn't have a car either. And then needed to pay my tuition. I put all my tuition on a credit card. I got a credit card. I didn't have one. And then the next week, I sold 2 houses.
Dang.
So the 2 houses had enough commission on the 2 of them that it paid for everything for that whole semester.
And you're like, I'm on to something.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this is it. This is good. Because I was like, how am I going to pay for school? How am I going to buy a car? How am I going to do all this? I'm either going to have to, work a pole or I'm going to sell real estate and
sink or swim.
Right. Well,
I always tell my banker, I'll end up on the corner if I have to.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out.
Well, and sometimes they kind of are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, right. And so I started selling real estate and it was just a means to an end. I really just wanted to pay for school. I wanted to be a teacher. That was my ultimate goal. I loved helping in the classroom. And that's what I wanted to do until I did my student teaching. And then I was like, this is social work. This is not teaching.
So I was a public educator for 7 years. I feel you.
Yeah. It is not for the meek.
It's not for everybody.
And
they have a very hard job.
Yeah. I am someone that I carry the emotions of others. You may not know that I do that, but I carried those kids.
Yeah.
And so it became really difficult for me really quick and I couldn't handle it. I just emotionally couldn't do it. And I was like, I need to yell at people and tell people what to do.
Which some teachers, that's right. Growing up, I feel like I had some of those.
Yeah. But so it wasn't my best fit.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
I got a good look on you.
No, it was not a good look for me. So I needed to stay in real estate.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I did.
And then you moved firms or agencies. You called it agency, firm, agency,
company, whatever. Any of those work.
Yep. And you went to Keller Williams.
That was not for many years later.
Okay.
So I was with Truman Ball, which is now in Saline County, actually. Back then it was not. It was in Little Rock. I commuted from Little Rock to Arkadelphia every day to college for 4 years.
Ooh, to Henderson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did. Sold full time. By the time I graduated, I was making what my professors made. And so stuck with it. And then Truman was diagnosed and died in 11 weeks. And it was difficult for everyone in the whole company. And the model shifted.
Yeah.
And obviously now the company even moved. So I moved and went to a company called Adkins McNeil Smith. And
so wait, what? Can you say that one time?
Adkins McNeil Smith.
Okay. All right. It sounded very fast.
Yeah. So then they have now been bought out by Realty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a company at that time. They were older, established agents, had been in the business forever. I was able to go absorb all that knowledge and that business from them that was overflowing and build my book. And it really worked.
And learn a lot from those seasoned veterans. Yeah.
Very much. Yep. And did it. And then left there and went to Keller Williams. And I was at Keller Williams, got my broker's license. I was there for 8 years. And while I was there, a lot of things shifted for me personally, professionally. Things just took off. And then last year on International Women's Day, March 3rd, I launched my own brokerage.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel like we need one of those like confetti poppers, like All right, and so what is your firm called?
It's called MOVE.
MOVE. Okay.
MOVE Realty.
Nice.
Yeah.
And now are you in Arkansas, Central Arkansas?
Right.
Where do you operate?
Right now, our office is in Little Rock.
I heard that right now.
Right now. Yeah. It's a yet.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. Yeah.
And MOVE stands for, I love an acronym. MOVE stands for Making Opportunities of Value for Everyone.
Ooh, I like that. Because in real estate, I feel like that you come across so many different people, different stages of life, different financial situations, people that have no clue what they're doing, people that know what they're doing.
Right.
And so it's just,
yep.
It's something that is hard for people the very first time home buyers. I know lots of staff members I have that it's very scary. And they think every time the bank or, the title company asks a question that it's over. It's all going to fall through. And you're like, no, it's going to be okay. Like this is normal. It's part of the process.
Yeah, it's great. And then there's so many moving parts, so many different people involved in every transaction. And the thing is that we do our best to make opportunities for people.
Yeah. So you have agents that work with you?
Yep.
How many agents do you have?
Right now we have 7.
Oh, now men and women or just women or?
So we would love men to join us.
But right now you're all women.
Right now we are all women.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
There's so many opportunities I don't know that people understand that are really available. There's investment opportunities, and then just to sit down and make a plan to get there.
I love a good plan.
Yeah. And then to be able to execute it. And then when you do, it's just it's so empowering.
So this journey sounds all like, oh, you went, you did it, you did all the things, everything was great, right? All that.
That makes me giggle.
Here I am, yeah. But along the way, there's always some bumps and bruises and all of that. So we're going to get to that in just a second. But first, we're going to do our trivia in the trenches. So we get to see Claire squirm a little bit, see if she knows the answer to this. Okay. It's a really easy question, but it was a little bit interesting to me. I was when I was researching this. All right. So trivia in the trenches. Here we go. What country has the highest divorce rate?
What country has the highest divorce rate?
Yeah. I was surprised.
Really?
Deep breath. She's taking it serious. Doing it.
I like to be right.
Yeah.
And I like to win. And so,
I want a sticker. There's a sticker. I want to win a sticker.
And it doesn't matter what I win, if anything. I just like to be right.
Yep. So now you got to guess. It's not the U.S. I'll give you that hint.
What country has the highest divorce rate? Is it France?
No, it's the Maldives. Really? I know. Listen to this. So 10.97 divorces per every 1,000 inhabitants. And I'm like, okay, so how does that rate to everyone else?
Give me that percentage.
Right. So over double what Belarus and the U.S. are almost tied for second and third.
Okay.
They have like 4 divorces, 4.6, 4.9 divorces for every 1,000 people per year. So like more than double the U.S. is the Maldives. And I'm like, man, I feel like it'd be a beautiful place. I've never been, but yeah.
That's crazy.
But another couple other fun facts. So I was looking this up. The oldest person to ever get divorced was Harry Bidwell. He was from the UK and he was 101 years old and his wife was 65. So he was like deuces. He filed for divorce with her.
Interesting.
And do you know the Guinness Book of World Records for the most marriages? Her name's Linda Wolf. Do you know how many?
No, what'd she do?
23 marriages.
Whoa.
Right? 3 of them were 3 times with the same person.
Okay. How many prenups?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I didn't list that.
Because that can get messy.
Yeah. I'm like, so I feel like, you and I have both been divorced. We've both been there. And I feel pretty good about my 3 divorces to 23. I feel like I'm.
Yeah. And you were telling me your divorces were early.
They were all in my 20s. Yeah. So all in my 20s. I was a fixer. My mom was an addict. And struggled with mental health. She committed suicide in 2013.
So sorry.
Yeah, it was a life-changing event for me, obviously, as it would be for anyone. And it was, every marriage and relationship has its own beautiful and tragic story. But I can speak for me and say that I was a fixer. And if I could fix things and take care of people and make them better, everything was going to be okay in life. And that is not a good foundation for a relationship. No. So after 3 failed marriages, I found a great therapist. I spent a lot of time in therapy. And so got to a lot better place. So sometimes you kind of look yourself in the mirror and go, I gotta look at myself here.
Yeah. I wish, I love therapy. I've been in therapy since I was 19.
Yeah.
I'll always go. I don't think it's something that I'll ever give up. That's my addiction is therapy.
Well, I always say to people, like, you'll hire a personal trainer, to help you work out physically. Your brain is way more important in life and more powerful than your body. Why wouldn't you hire a trainer for your brain?
Yeah. Do you know what the average American wedding costs?
Ooh, is this like trivia reverse trenches?
Yeah.
I like this. Okay. Average American wedding cost $12,000.
$34,000.
What?
So what would our divorce rate and what would our relationships look like if we spent that same amount of money on our relationship therapy prior to getting married?
Bet.
And what would that look like?
That is good stuff.
Yeah. Because anybody can buy a ring and a dress for a hell of a lot less than $34,000 or even $12,000. And then how much value do you place on your relationship?
Yeah.
And where are you showing it?
Because so much of our, that we go into our relationships is what we were taught or shown.
Sure.
And you don't really know that that's why you're doing it, but that's your normal.
You're just doing it. It's your subconscious.
You don't know. So along those lines, along the way, you got divorced and learned a thing or two, thankfully. You wrote a book. Tell us about your book.
Right. So the book doesn't deal with my divorce.
Okay.
And people always think that.
Well, I when I was reading I haven't read the book yet, but when I was reading the book description, I like that word yet. See, I'm a reader. I love to read.
Well, you can listen to it too.
Oh, I like audiobooks. So I do laundry. I hate laundry. So and all those things.
I don't do laundry.
So, but this was your journey after your divorce and dating, though, right?
Right.
Yeah. So tell us about why you wrote the book, what the book's about.
Right. Because I had never dated.
So when you 19, you started, how old were you when you got married?
20.
Okay. So in the middle of you going to college right then. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was born and raised here in Benton.
Okay.
And I dated a sweet Mormon boy that most people know here. He's a very prominent physician here. He's a great man. And he was really all I had known. And then, so I never dated. And then I met my ex-husband. I met him my senior year of high school. He went to prom with me. I mean,
prom. Right. God, forget about those things, right?
And then, and so then, I got married at 20. My college years were not the same as everyone else's. You got to realize, so I had never seen a keg until I went to a nonprofit fundraiser in my late 30s.
Oh, gosh.
No, I'm serious. Do you
I wish I could. I was 18, so I can't say it was the first time, but I get that. It's a totally different.
It's a total different journey. It's a total different perspective. Like I had never really been drunk or even seen marijuana or anything like that till after I was divorced.
Okay.
Do you see my point? I was working.
You meant it when you said earlier, I feel like our lives were swapped. Yeah.
I was commuting an hour one way just to go to college, and then commuting an hour one way back, hustling my ass off
to be able to pay for it. Yes.
To pay for it, to pay for the house I bought, to pay for the car I just bought. Like, I didn't have an option. There was nothing else in my life except hustle. And then after that, I was pregnant.
And so you had kids. Yes.
And
that ain't nothing like hustling like when you have little kids.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And it's a whole new focus.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't have any options. There were no choices. And so all of a sudden now I'm single. I've never experienced being single. You got to understand, I had never slept in a home alone, a bed alone, anything like that in my life.
Wow.
Until my mid-30s.
I feel like that is such, like you say that, but to feel that is so, like that's That's like soul altering.
Yes, it is. It is a different level of lonely. And to sit at the dining room table without my children that I had a fertility battle to have was, I couldn't eat. I had never been to a bar. You know, the first time I went to a bar was just to go eat because I couldn't sit at my breakfast table to eat by myself.
Like when your kids were gone to their other parents' house.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
Okay.
So I would go and sit at random bars and eat dinner.
Just for the noise, almost
just
background
to
noise.
sit by a stranger and have a body there.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I was drinking because I wasn't, because then I had to drive home.
Yeah.
But I needed people.
Just that human connection.
I'm such a people person.
Yeah.
That it was like this, the stillness in the house was a new level of hell.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine,
it was awful.
And it's like, so you say that like you didn't spend your whole life in therapy to get there, but it takes a lot to get there.
No. I just said I've been in therapy since I was 19. I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, I know.
It's been
because for so many people,
over 20 years.
Listening to this and hearing this from maybe years from now, like may find themselves sitting there in that exact same spot, but realizing that, oh my God, this is how I actually feel and why I feel this way. That's huge.
Absolutely. The thing is, though, is that I refused to stay there. I was determined to find a solution for it. It's
I love that.
I can't sit here and I've got to eat because you get on the divorce diet and it's unintentional. The weight just goes somewhere.
Man, if you could, I always said if you could bottle that.
I don't know what that is, man.
And sell it. You could be like a weight loss millionaire.
And I don't know what that is.
It just happens.
And like since then, I can't seem to get married and to go through it again. So I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
But like, you know, so it's like I've got to put something in me, you know, and I refuse to. So what's the solution? Well, I'll go sit at a bar. And all my friends are married with kids. It's not like I can just randomly knock on the door and say, tonight's your night.
Yeah, come hang out with me. Yay.
You know? So
I'm sure they would have loved to. But, you know, you want to be respectful of those boundaries and stuff. And so that journey is what prompted Ring or Fling.
Ring or Fling came out of my diary, my journals.
That's good.
It is. Probably I had been 2 years single. Friends of mine set me up with a mutual friend of theirs who I then went to Europe with and met him on vacation. He was deployed and I met him for one of his vacations. And the night before I came home, he asked me for a lot of money. And then I dug very deep and I asked.
I have chills all over my whole body. That is heart-wrenching.
I've been through it.
Oh,
so
Claire.
Then I asked a lot of questions and dug very deep and learned that he had not been truthful about many, many things. And we broke up at the airport after I got my ride to the airport.
Yeah, no doubt, right? You thought that one through, didn't you? Like, I'm not getting left under that ride.
I'm a very intentional, calculated person.
I can tell.
And so
ask for the ride to the airport first. Yes, there it is.
I didn't pay for that cab ride.
No doubt.
And so, and then I didn't sleep the 26-hour flight home and journaled the entire time. And a lot of people are like, well, I bet you didn't. And it's like, no. The journaling, and if you read the book, it's not an angry book. It wasn't an angry journal. And it's, how did I get myself here? Who is not in my life to shake me enough to say, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
It's always about the who. The who in your life really will shape you the most.
Is that not the truth?
Mm-hmm. And so I wrote more about the inner reflection of myself and how can I not get here again? What's missing? Where is my lack? What do I need to improve within me? Because if this is a reflection of who I am and where I am, man, some things need to change.
That was me after my third divorce, you know, is what the hell is going on here?
Right.
I am part of this.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to always want to point fingers and say, oh, he was bad. He asked you for money or whatever it was. But like, I am the reason I got here.
Right. Absolutely. 100%.
How am I not going to get here again?
No, it was my responsibility.
Yeah.
I got on that airplane. I took that trip. I trusted him. I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't self-protect. I didn't do all those things. It was my responsibility.
Yeah.
And so the lessons that I learned from myself came into that book. And then I even went further. Like, what are the patterns of my parents? Like we just talked about.
Yeah.
The first chapter is, does history repeat itself?
Hell yeah, it does.
It
Every
does.
time. Every
It does
time.
if you don't start recognizing them.
Yeah.
And how to self-correct them. And then what are the patterns of all the guys that I've dated? Oh, why am I attracting emotionally unavailable people?
Right.
What is not available within me? Or what am I projecting? And then is it self-sabotage? I mean, so many different things to
the
work
things
through.
that you almost literally, unless you just happen to have like a beautiful upbringing with very like well emotionally aware parents, you have to be taught those things.
Yes.
Or find a source to learn them from.
Right.
You know, because I look at our age of parents, and so they were either raised by people from the Great Depression or raised by people who were raised by people from the Great Depression. Right. And it was, you don't have it as hard as me. Mm-hmm. Suck it up, buttercup. You're going to be okay. And we ended up with this, whole generation of parents that are emotional stuffers.
Yeah.
That have now led to our generation of, oh my God, this is not okay.
It's not okay.
And us, we're trying to unpack all this stuff and figure out what's going on, which is hopefully will be better for our kids' generation.
Right.
But
I'm screwing them up. I know
they're going to have their own brand of therapy. I think my son was 3 or 4, and you're trying to just do all the things. And
all
then
the things.
They're talking and all this. And you finally just realize, you know what? He's going to be in therapy. And he's going to be talking to a therapist about all the things his mom did. And I just have to know that that's okay. Yeah. And that's the way it is. And I'm going to be the best version I can be right now.
Right.
And I think it's different with each kid too.
Yep.
Because you have 2 kids. So you're not the same parent to one kid because you're not the same person 5 years later or 4 years later or however, the distance is between the kids.
Right. And that's another great point. This original manuscript was written 5 years ago.
Oh.
I'm not the same woman
that
I was 5 years ago. And so hopefully I've learned so much and I'm not doing the same things.
Yeah.
And I also don't share the same opinions anymore that I wrote.
Yeah.
So anytime someone asks me about it or I know is reading it, I'm like, please come from curiosity.
Well, but somebody reading it may also be coming from the perspective that you were when you wrote it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Not like a much 5-year wiser version later. Sure. So whenever I was doing a little prep for our podcast today, something caught my eye when I was looking at the information in your book and I was reading the descriptions, and the publication date was June 2020.
Yeah.
So you published a book in the middle of a pandemic.
I know. Wasn't that smart?
No.
I know.
Tell us about that. Okay, so there's no public book readings at the local cafe.
No, all that was planned.
Yeah, of course.
And a book tour and everything. And it all got canceled and it still hasn't been redone.
Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about those struggles.
Yeah, the struggle of launching the book?
Well, you've poured your heart into this. Yeah. It's good. Mm-hmm. You've literally written from your diary and your journal to the a future version of yourself or someone else coming into that journey. Right. And now here I am. I've got this great product, this book, and I can't do what I was going to do to even get it off the ground.
Oh, well, I don't know. That's not how I saw it.
Okay.
So while I was writing it, there's still more things that caused me to write it. I started writing it for that was the catalyst, and then more things happened, and it was just this is not for naught. Yeah. This journey is very clear that I'm a vessel, and I'm to share this so that others don't repeat my mistakes.
Yeah.
And so that not just my mistakes, but so that others learn and have the lessons that they are equipped with. Mm-hmm. And so that they are then empowered through me.
Yeah.
And I'm literally just the vessel. It is not of me. And so I would write it, and I write about some very raw experiences that are very deep and very painful. And I can to work through those in order to put them in pen and paper was the only thing that kept me going was if one person is saved from this, then it's worth it.
Man.
And that's all that matters. And so, publishing it was not, to me, it was not, the goal was not, I need a New York Times bestseller. It was not.
To be the vessel.
It was, I just want one woman to be helped.
And not have to do or go through what I just did.
Right. Right.
Man, I love
Because I
that.
had never online dated. Nothing.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that.
Oh, the internet wasn't out.
But this is
The cell phones weren't out. You got to
No.
understand.
No.
I mean,
I remember getting text messages in college. I was like my sophomore year of college, sophomore year, I think. And I'm sitting in like a, what are the classrooms, and they've got the seats that come. It's like an auditorium, like a baby auditorium. And I'm sitting there with my phone, and a text message goes off, and I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm going to get charged for this on my bill. Someone's texting me.
Yeah, your bill.
You used to get charged
Minutes.
even if they text you, even if you didn't open it. You thought if you didn't open it, you wouldn't get charged for it. But you did. It was a big deal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so we come a long way, like Tinder and Bumblebee or Bumble or what?
Bumble.
Yeah, clearly I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you don't.
Yeah. Well, this is that was true.
Yes,
this is very true.
But the thing is like I had never had a man ask me for my number.
Man,
I had never. So, to my knowledge, let me put it that way, my naivety.
I mean, it might have been in the phone book. See, back in the day, the phone books.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had never had a man hit on me either.
To your
that
knowledge.
I know of, to my knowledge, because I mean, I'm just the blonde's original. It's just no longer as natural. I just don't know what I'm doing half the time. Like, I'm not kidding. I'll just bebop through and like, oh, okay, whatever. Thanks so much.
I think I just moved too fast to notice.
Yeah, and like, dude likes my dress, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I didn't know what I didn't know. So like going into this, like my girlfriends have had to point it out to me, like, Claire, that guy likes you. And I'm like,
you're like, who? What guy?
No.
He just said my shoes were cute.
Yeah, no.
You're like, girl, stop.
Yeah, no. Like I literally, it has to be said to me. Like,
so are you dating now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you apping it up? Like doing the app thing?
I'm not on any apps or anything like that right now.
Right or left or
right?
Isn't that something like that.
I mean, are you wanting to get on there and see what that? Okay.
I just see it on like movies and stuff, and I'm like, I'm always thinking like that's not even their picture. I'm always thinking the catfishing thing.
There's
it's
stories
like
about that.
Yeah.
In the book.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I can't wait to read the book.
Yeah, I've been through it all.
I'll do a big poster.
I had one show up without a tooth,
like in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was the picture? Did you see a picture beforehand?
So that was the question. So I went to the bathroom to relook. Like, surely I did not.
Like, okay, I didn't have my glasses
surely
on. Like, let's get this together.
I can't miss this.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he took his picture on the other side of his face.
Oh, like one of these numbers.
Yeah. I'm like,
strategy.
Shut up. And I'm like, I have just a few choices. Like
you're like out the bathroom window.
Well, like he wanted to meet at a wine bar. It was a nice
date,
and it was a nice wine bar too. And I'm like, I can drink a lot. Like these are my options. Like drink a whole lot. I could just leave, which is not nice because I don't want that done to me. Or I could do both.
Did you choose?
I chose option C. So I sat down, started drinking. I'm like, I got to figure this out. Like, we've got to unpack the tooth. Like, I need to know. Like, and like, I tried to give him every option to tell me without just saying, like, what the hell happened
like, did you just have an accident? Maybe you got a fight last week. Like, maybe there was a car accident.
Like, did you have something here and it just fell out and you're waiting for your dental appointment? Like, did you have an implant? Yeah. Did you have something? And like,
nothing. He didn't the story.
We're older now. I get it.
Yeah, like if my veneer fell off, I'm going to need a minute. Yeah.
No, he acted like it's totally normal. And then what gets me...
Did you keep a straight face?
Total, the whole time. Okay. Like, you got to understand...
I've
sold real estate over 20 years.
Like I can sell like ice to an Eskimo here.
No, but I'm like Google Maps.
Oh.
So you tell me where you live. I have an approximate valuation of your property.
Yeah.
This idiot starts telling me, I just sold my house over here. My parents live over here and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, you live in these places and you can't afford a tooth? Like, no.
So you just, it wasn't adding up real quick.
I'm like, we are not in alignment.
So before you got it...
Our values are so far off. Like, if you can't prioritize teeth
we're not
and you value property like that, no.
I can't do it. I cannot.
I got to go.
Did you say anything about the tooth before you got up? No, you just let it roll.
I never said a damn thing. I just deleted it in the bathroom. Like when I was in the bathroom and
like,
I got the bad pictures. Like I deleted him from the app right then.
Yeah. So that was the nap one. That wasn't actually an app one.
Yeah. Nothing ever.
Yeah, so
nothing good has come from an app.
Yeah, right? I could see that. Totally see that. So in the midst of all of this, I think the only thing, like I know, the one of the big, monster thing is you built this women's community online. So you
so that came,
out of the book, I think I read that you kind of got together with like 6 other women, right? And realized, hey, let's just chat for a bit on Facebook.
So it's a fun story.
Oh, she's getting comfy for this one. I like it. Getting comfy.
I came home from Europe and I in my journaling and realized that my biggest lack was strong relationships with women, with girlfriends.
I found myself there before too.
And I needed mom night outs. I needed girlfriends to go on trips with so that when a man comes along with sweet rhetoric and asks me to go to Europe, I can say, I am so sorry. I'm already booked for Ireland then. And what else is good? And nope. And so I already had that fulfilled in my world. And dinner would maybe be a real feat to have with me because I'm booked out.
Because I have a life.
I have a life.
It's not waiting on a man.
It's not. And I didn't have that. And so as soon as I got home, I contacted some women at my kids' school and at church who I was friends with, but we weren't like FaceTime your friend. You know what I mean? Okay, tell me if this looks good. We weren't that close.
Yeah.
And I thought, these are the women I want to be closer to. I value them.
And I think something you said earlier too, is you said, I realized that these things were my responsibility.
Yeah.
And something that I have learned over the years as I've gotten older is that it's our responsibility to invest in those friendships.
Yeah.
They don't just come to you.
No, you have to take the action.
Yeah.
You can't just have the ideas.
Yeah.
You have to do something about them.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's one of the things that it just really bothers me. And I say it about women, but it could be by anybody. But don't stay in your victimhood.
Bet.
You can sit in a warm bath with that all day long.
And now what? That's what I always say. Now what?
And now,
all that shit happens to all of us. Now what?
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, I'll never forget there was an older realtor that at my very first brokerage, and I was having a very difficult time with one of my parents. And she said, Claire, we've all got that shit. And I was like, and it hit me. And I was like, she's right.
And I'm living in that victimhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so get out of it. Nobody cares about that party, darling. That's a party for one. And so, I mean,
Can we put that on a shirt?
Party for one.
Party for one. Hashtag victimhood.
Yes. Right.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So I contacted them and I said, listen, I need a lot of help. I need mom night outs. I need girlfriend trips. And I have a lot of questions about my vagina. And they were like, oh my God, so do I. And I said, yes. I said, okay, I hate a group text. I'm going to put us all in this little private Facebook group. You
check
can
it
check
when you
it.
want.
I don't care. Do whatever you want, but we're having a mom night out this Friday night, board and brush, bring your own wine, whatever. And they're like, I'm there. We all showed up.
They were so happy just to have somebody else to talk to too.
Well, someone to organize it and just make it happen. So,
and you're like, I can organize.
Yes. And so we did it. We showed up. We all brought wine. It was, we got kicked out of board and brush. It was like, have you seen Bad Moms? It was Bad Moms. Like,
did you close it down, get kicked out? Or did you like peace get kicked out? Y'all were acting up.
Closed it down, got kicked out, sitting on the curb with our bottles of wine.
And still had the, you're still, okay, like
and
just straight.
Husbands had to come and like carpool us all home.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm single.
So did you have to like hitch a ride?
Yep.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. Well, they told all their friends, and it went from just the 6 of us to over 1,500 in 3 weeks.
Just 1,500 women, no big deal, right?
Well, I say that because now it's over 18,000.
Oh, Claire. Of real. 18,000 of real.
Yeah.
Real people having real questions and real conversations.
All about their vagina. No, I'm teasing. Like, no.
The men listen to this are going to be like, vaginas? Let me hear about
that. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's in my journal. It has to be so good the men want to join too. And that happens on a daily basis. We have men trying to join every single day. And I'm like, sorry, boys. So sorry.
This isn't your party.
Well, I'm like, y'all been having coffee groups since the beginning of time.
Yeah. This room was a parlor. So since my house is really old, this was like front parlor, back parlor. Yeah. And this would have been the one that was only for men. Mm-hmm. Like only the men could have come in the front room of the parlor. Like
this was for your whiskey and cigars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
Love it. All right. And so then you have 1,500 women all of a sudden. And what do you do with that?
Well, it shut Facebook down 3 times because they looked at us as spam. They didn't know what was going on. I didn't either.
What year was this? Ish? Like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
or so. All right. So I'm trying to think like, Facebook, they didn't used to be able to do all the things it can do now.
Right.
So back then when big movements happened, it like locked up.
It did.
Yeah. Okay.
It did. So we're in 23.
Yeah.
So it would have been 18.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get these 1,500 women and you guys just start talking?
Yeah. So I have been in business coaching for 8 years now.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, this is not my little group anymore. So this is bigger and, everything. And women were doing a roll call and announcing their businesses and what they do and their passions. And I was like, we're going to get purposeful. And so I did. I created what is known as an MVVBP, which is a mission, vision, value, belief, and perspective around it. And
say that acronym one more time.
MVVBP.
Okay.
Mission, vision, values, and belief, perspective.
Okay.
I wrote and developed all of that around Power Women.
And like, this is what, as Power Women, this is what we believe.
Mm-hmm. This is our mission. This is our
just
vision.
In here chatting. You can chat on Marketplace.
That's right.
Like,
no, we don't sell shit.
Yeah.
This is our mission. This is our vision. These are our values. This is our belief system. This is our perspective of where we're going to be in the future.
Yeah.
This is all of that.
Yeah.
So I created that and then I published that. And when I published that, it went insane. And then they really started coming in. And then I was like, okay, now I got to get even more around it. So it's just like each layer, it just came and came. So then I created the lead capture system with it to where I now have everybody's information that joins, which then now drives the real estate business, the book, the podcast, and everything else organically.
Yeah. I love that. I love it. And so it's not just a U.S. thing, though, either, is it? Right?
We've expanded into Northwest Arkansas.
Yep. And then you've got members on there, though. Are all these people in Arkansas, or are they not Arkansas?
To be part of Little Rock Power Women, you have to be in Central Arkansas.
Central Arkansas. So you do geographically kind of geofence it. Okay.
Yep.
And then Northwest Arkansas.
You have to be in Northwest Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I also created Power Women of Real Estate.
Oh, so industry specific.
Yeah.
I just feel like the word yet is that, or like ... Yeah. It was after that sentence, because I feel like this has so much potential.
It does. And there's a large vision for it.
Oh my gosh, Claire, I love that. I feel like I'm like hearing about something at the not beginning, but like the beginning of the next, like, when you're almost on the edge of something.
Yeah. It's one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And so I try to listen of what comes into my awareness of who of who's coming and asking for opportunities and doing things, and then that's the direction I go next.
I love that, thinking about the who. And I've always said in my business that I follow where my customers lead me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never opened a business. I didn't open any business because I wanted to own that business.
Right.
I opened the businesses where we saw needs in the community.
That's it.
And what people were telling us they needed or needed more of, or, that kind of stuff. So I've never said it like that, the who.
It's the who.
But I really like that. That's good stuff. So what do you do for fun? Yeah. Do you have any hobbies? Do you do anything outside of all this great, wonderful change you're making?
So time is precious.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you're a mom.
Especially with 2 kids. And
how old are they?
12. And then my daughter will be 16 next week.
Scary and exciting at the same time.
I have 6 teenage girls coming to stay at my house tonight.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
So will you be done with car rider, like pick up and drop off? Now that she's going to be driving? Oh my God, that's a huge transition in your life.
I know.
Like, it could be 3:45 and you could still be sitting at your desk.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, that's like a big deal if this whole driving thing goes well.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. So you've got 2 kids.
2
Time's
kids.
precious.
Time is precious.
What do you do when you're not doing all of this greatness? Do you like knit or?
Oh, you're funny.
I don't knit, so I thought maybe like you could be a knitter. I don't know.
I would like to knit.
Yeah.
I mean, I do sew.
Ooh, okay.
But I don't.
Yeah, like
I mean,
you can
like
sew.
I can.
Like you, yeah,
I can, but I don't.
Like I can stand. I can stand on one foot for an hour, but I don't. But
right. Like just because you can doesn't mean you do. Just because that girl's wearing a dress doesn't mean she should.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. But I really love to cook.
Oh, okay. Like baker, or you just all kinds of food, or?
I love to bake. However, the last 2 years I've been gluten and dairy free.
Okay.
And so baking has become a huge challenge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So are you doing like oat flour and like things like that?
Yep.
Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been on a health journey as well. I have a dairy intolerance.
Yeah.
And so and I'm a traveler. We travel all the time. And so it creates very interesting paradigms. And now when you're not in the US, it's way easier.
It is.
In the US, it's totally different.
It is.
So
if you go out west, it's also easier.
I haven't been out west since post-pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be going to Vegas in a couple weeks. But we haven't been to California since before 2020.
It's so easy in California.
Yeah. Everything's always labeled. There's always like a V or a asterisk or something showing if it's dairy free or not, which is a challenge, especially for people that have kids that need to eat and stuff too.
I know, because my son is the same.
Yeah.
He's very allergic. We're an allergic family. They get it from me. It's my fault. It's always your mother's fault.
Something here in the Eastern US, which is the Western world, is not as recognized. You know,
we love our fat down here.
Yeah.
And it comes from butter and cream and
all the good things.
Yeah. And that's how I was taught to cook.
So do you travel too? You like to travel?
I love to travel.
In the US, internationally?
Both.
You have any trips coming up?
That's a great question. And no.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still in the planning.
I know. I've got a lot of work scheduled this year.
Yeah. I feel like that about my year too. I know. I had a friend, Sarah, on the podcast. Oh, you know Sarah.
Yeah.
Several weeks ago. And she has asked me about my trips coming up. And they were all kind of work related. Like I didn't have any good, great excursions planned or anything.
Yeah.
So if we asked your kids to describe you, what would they say?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think my daughter would say funny.
I think anyone that meets you would say funny, but you're right about that. You're so right. Yeah, absolutely. What would your son say? What's his name?
Henry.
Henry. What would Henry say?
He's at such an age right now.
He's 12, huh?
Yeah.
Man, I was a middle school teacher for 7 years.
What grades?
I taught 5th, 6th, and 8th.
Yeah, I had 8th grade.
Those messy kids in the middle, I love them until their second semester, 8th grade, and then I'm out.
I hate 8th grade.
Oh, second semester. First semester, I was okay. Second semester, they're about to be high schoolers. They turn into these crazy hormonal, we don't know anything humans.
That's where he is.
That we have never lived before.
I know.
Yeah.
And
so,
I don't know what Henry would say. Henry would probably say smart.
Oh, that's sweet.
Henry's a sweet boy.
Oh, I love that. My son's like that. I asked him the other day, I said, what's my favorite thing to do? I ask him random questions. Like, what's my favorite food? See what he says? I'm like, what's my favorite thing to do? He's like, hang out with me. I was like, oh,
well, he's 5.
I'm doing it.
Yes,
I'm doing it.
5 is such a precious age.
Isn't it precious?
It is one of my favorite ages.
It is so
They
fun.
are so cute at that age.
I love it. So what's up next for you in life or business? You said you've got a busy year. So what do you have coming up next?
It's a busy year. It's building MOVE. Building MOVE is the top priority right now.
What does that look like?
It looks like
a lot of work.
A lot of work. It really does. I mean, it's like in multiple facets. I mean, it's helping the agents that are currently there and building their growth plan that they currently have and encouraging them and coaching them along through that.
Which sounds like 2 sentences and is really like 80% of your work.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Which is worth it. Absolutely worth it. I'm there with my leadership team.
Yeah.
So fun, so rewarding, but it's a lot. It's
a lot. I hate the term recruiting. I do not like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the term recruiting. I look at it more as, attracting talent.
Yeah. And I think your paths come together when they're supposed to.
That's right.
Yeah.
I really do too.
I'm not a very good, like if you ask about how do you hire people or do you post on Indeed? Do you do all this? And I am, I feel like my heart and soul, like it comes together at the right time, Not that I haven't ever found candidates that way, but definitely through the like get to know you process, it feels like you're either on that same vibration or not.
Yeah. You're either in alignment with us or you're not.
Yeah.
And we have our company values on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's like, these either mean something to you or they don't.
And if they don't, that's okay.
It is.
That's totally fine. It's just, this is not your pasture.
That's right. This is not your fit and that's okay. So, I'm looking for that. I'm seeking that.
I love that you're seeking that and not recruiting. That is, I feel like that's my internal mantra, and sometimes I've hired people that I didn't even really have a position for yet, but they were so in alignment and believed so much what we believed. We figured out a way to make it fit until their long-term position showed itself, right? Mm-hmm. Because they believed in what we did. Right. We knew that we're not really hiring, but we're hiring you.
Right. Well, because you don't lose talent. When you find good talent, you find a place for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. You always find a place for talent.
Is there anything else you wanted me to ask you about?
I do a TV segment.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Channel 4.
You do?
Every Monday.
Okay, so is it real estate or no?
It's all of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a real TV person.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real TV person here.
Shut up.
Oh my gosh. Oh. I didn't know that. I've never done anything like this. This is like I'm going to have a podcast. So I kind of just jumped out there. Yeah. I feel like, did I do good?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah.
I got a stamp from like a real TV person.
Shut up.
Are you like an anchor or like a broadcaster?
No.
Or are you just like a special feature?
No. Channel 4 called about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So you're going every Monday?
Every Monday.
Or do you talk or you interview people?
Both.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like your podcast.
Yeah.
But
shorter.
And on TV.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah.
Live.
It is
no
live.
Editing. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind live.
I know.
I feel like I kind of just do my thing.
Yeah. I talk about everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one last question.
Okay.
We're done. So I ask everyone the same question. So what is one thing you always wanted to do, but you haven't done it yet?
Camping.
Damn, that came out fast.
Okay. So,
camping.
I am
like ground camping or like RV or like real camping.
Yeah. I want a tent.
I'm a backpacker.
Oh.
My husband and I are overnight backpackers.
Oh, okay.
Like through the woods, put the camp out.
I don't want to carry shit.
Oh.
I want
I want to carry shit.
No, so I got divorced and I listed off a ton of things I've never done and all these things earlier to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I recognized that
you'd never been camping.
I'd never done a lot.
Oh.
And
I was just going with the camping thing, but you were going with life. Yeah.
And so I decided I need to make my living list. That's what I call it.
Oh, a living list. Kind of like a bucket list, but a living list.
Yeah, because I'm not done. I'm going to live. And it's a living document.
I like that.
It's a living document. So I always add to it. And so my first living list was 3.5 pages long.
Oh, have you crossed? Do you you still have it? Are you crossing it off still? Or
it's the first one is in my old journal.
And so was that the one? Did you make that list on the airplane, or was it after you got back?
Oh, it was after
you got back.
Yeah.
You could have said yes. It would sound cool.
Sorry,
would have been truthful, but
no.
I don't want you to lie, but
yeah.
I was seeing you on the airplane and you're over there and there's a light on you, like a little Hallmark movie moment.
Right.
Yeah, I went for it.
Camping is still on the list.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take you camping. Yeah. It's not like today. It's 40 degrees, but
I want a fire.
Yeah, we can. I know how to build a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a fire.
It's really fun.
I want to camp.
It's really fun. And that's why we hike, is because I have so much going on in my brain. And when I'm out in the woods, it's not like it stops. It's just it gets quieter and more seamless. I get away from it.
Yes.
And it's just, man, there's just something.
And I love being outside. I love to
something
hike.
that happens. And in Arkansas, there's I'm a sucker for a waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I will hike further than I thought, my little legs could go for a waterfall.
Right.
And to be able to hike to somewhere, to the waterfall and it's great. And we usually camp by creeks. Yeah. So that you can we wash our dishes in this creek at night after dinner.
Do you eat on them afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just wipe them out. You get the water, you boil water in them. Yeah. So we pack our food up, ramen noodles and all that. I hope your face is all over the camera with this because this is adorable. You're we don't know. Yeah.
So I can't eat the ramen noodles.
Yeah. So my husband's more of a ramen noodle person. I usually take, I'm a mac and cheese girl.
I can't eat any of that.
Yeah. Well, don't take that.
Okay.
You can take gluten-free crackers.
Okay.
You can take potted meat. I don't eat potted meat, but that came to my head.
What is potted meat?
I know. That's the question of the year. What is Vienna sausages?
What is what?
Vienna sausages. You know the little sausages in the can?
Are you calling them?
What are they? Vienna sausages?
Vienna?
Is it Vienna?
Shut up.
I've been calling them Vienna sausages my whole life.
Where are you from?
I know, right?
No,
Vienna.
for real.
I'm from here. I'm from Bryant.
That's the problem.
You just divided the river right there. Yeah. What are they called? Vienna. Like
the country.
I was in Europe, Vienna?
Yes.
No, they've been Vienna sausages my whole life.
They are not now.
I feel like I'm initiated.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The
I am not eating that.
No.
I haven't since I was a child.
I take beef jerky and then I take,
I like beef jerky.
I take Wagyu, think Whole Foods has got all the fancy little jerkies. You can get turkey jerky, all kinds of good stuff. Yeah.
I don't go to Whole Paycheck much, but I will tell you, I made meatloaf and my daughter was like, we're supposed to eat a loaf of meat.
Yeah.
And I was like, child, I have made this
how are you making meatloaf without crackers in it?
I have gluten-free breadcrumbs.
Oh, okay. That's good. Some of them like this with the saltines.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
I've struggled with meatloaf lately because I also don't eat eggs. I eat quail eggs, but not real eggs.
I make it without eggs.
What are you putting? What's holding it together?
Nothing.
Just the pan.
Yeah.
Yep.
It works.
And the ketchup.
You know what? I'm going to eat it anyways.
So it don't matter.
I don't need it to look pretty.
Yeah.
I need it to taste good.
Growing up, that was my favorite meal my mom made. Meatloaf, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, green beans, and Pillsbury crescent rolls.
My son loves those.
My son does too.
They're dairy free.
Are they really?
Yes.
They're not the way my husband makes them. He takes a little chunk of cheese and rolls it up in there for him. I know. But my son he's fine with dairy. So
yeah.
He's a little bit of dairy. We're like almond milk family.
Yeah.
So
my son eats them like crazy. And I've taught him to make cinnamon rolls out of them.
You using plant-based butter?
No.
I use plant-based butter.
Wait, he doesn't use butter.
How do you make a cinnamon roll with no butter?
Just sugar and cinnamon. He didn't know any difference.
Which if they're raw, when you put it on there, I guess it sticks to it, right? He didn't know any difference. I know,
He didn't know any difference.
But if it sticks to it, he puts it on there raw before he rolls it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now he makes them himself.
My son getting his own Lunchable this week. Clutch. It's like parenthood moment.
I know.
Right there. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
It's been so much fun. I feel like we need to like hang out and go have wine on the curb.
I know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
and wait for someone to pick us up.
Yeah. Hopefully.
We could put that on our list.
Yeah, but not the guy from Swipe with no
teeth.
Yeah,
they have to have teeth to pick us up.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's on the bucket list.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to reading your book, and it's been great having you here.
Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to the GRIT Crusade podcast with Brooke Plack. Our theme song is Thunder City by Luna Ray. This podcast was produced by Luminate Media Group. Our executive producer is Josh Freeman, and our audio engineer is Steven Stringer. Thank you for listening, and join us again next time.